So I have been seeing a lot of people speculate on the real reason Valve added gold trade-ups after 12 years of the game being out and them not tampering with the system. So I thought I would also toss my hat in the ring and present a theory of my own. I might be a little late to the party, but here's my theory. The whole point of adding knife trade-ups is to allow for a Genesis knife collection. Before you click off thinking I'm an idiot, let me explain my reasoning. First of all, there's plenty of speculation on what the true reason Valve added knife trade-ups is. Some people are saying it was for Valve to take back control of the markets, to move value from golds to reds, thereby bringing a lot more volume to the Steam market, which has a maximum price of $2,000. This is actually a pretty plausible theory in my opinion, and it's the one I think is most likely. Some others are saying that it was to lower the prices of knives so that players who were previously priced out of the market can now get an affordable knife. I find the fact that anyone believes this to be pretty funny. Valve has shown time after time again that they will limit the supply of items and discontinue them to make them rare and expensive. They love having a $20,000 knife as a possibility when you open a case, because that gets them millions in case unboxings every month. If Valve really wanted to give players cheaper knives, they could just introduce a bunch new cases with new cool knives and add the cases with them in the active drop pool. Or they could even bring back some of the older knives in new cases. Yeah, this would be very disruptive and not at all consistent with their past actions, but you could basically say the same thing about the trade-up update. And finally, for some reason I cannot understand, some people are saying that Valve is trying to move away from gambling mechanics by adding another gambling mechanic. Yeah, no. So let me explain my theory. First thing you need to consider is that CS2 has like 5 to 7 full-time devs. None of the people who set up the original CS skins economy might even be left on the team. Everyone is assuming that this trade-up update was some genius 200 IQ move by Valve to achieve some hidden goal. But there's a good chance that this wasn't even all that well thought through. Yeah, it sounds crazy to think that some dev can just go and push up some update that halves a $6 billion economy overnight, but it's also crazy to dedicate only a handful of people to a game that's earning you more than $1 billion a year. Another thing I wanted to mention is that Valve famously has very lax management with a lot of freedom for employees. It's entirely possible that just a couple of devs thought this was a good idea and no one was there to stop them. And like I said before, if this update was really meant to achieve some hidden goal for Valve, they have many better levers for them to pull on. More likely, this was a simple decision. Someone at Valve thought up the Genesis terminal. Why? Who knows? Maybe they want a bigger cut of the prices of higher tier items. Maybe they don't like case openings and how it introduces little kids to gambling. Maybe they're scared of regulation. We don't know the exact reason, but for some reason or other, we got the Genesis terminal. But here's the problem. Valve can only charge up to $2,000 for a Genesis terminal item. That's the maximum Steam balance you can have. Also, the optics of charging like $10,000 for a Genesis Gold would be terrible. Just look at all the backlash they got from charging $1.5K for some coverts and think of how much worse it would be if they were charging $10,000 for some rare knives. So instead, Valve decides they will not offer golds via the terminal. Instead, they will make it so that you can trade up the reds you get from the terminal and get golds. And this will be the only way of getting terminal golds. This allows Valve to indirectly charge $10,000 for the knife, but it doesn't look nearly as bad. This makes it so that it doesn't matter if golds are above the $2,000 limit and they're not even trading on the Steam community market. Valve has already sold the fillers for like $500 each, and they got their cut already. Another reason I have for believing this theory is that it's the only way Valve can truly compare cases to terminals. Terminals do not have knives, so Valve can't exactly compare how much profit they're making from terminals to cases and figure out if terminals are something they want to continue with in the future. But if terminals can get you a knife through trade-ups, then it would be reasonable to start comparing terminal revenue to cases revenues and see if it's worth switching over to the terminal system. Also, just consider the name, the Genesis terminal. This might be Valve telling us that this is the start of a new system. If this theory is true, then before the end of the year, we should get Genesis golds. And these golds might be something special as well to encourage trade-ups. Maybe we're finally going to get new knife finishes after 9 years. Before I end this video, I do want to suffix that this is a pretty out there theory. I make a lot of assumptions, and in reality, I think the chance of this theory being true is maybe like 5 or 10%, and that's being pretty generous. It's also not very actionable. I'm not exactly going to recommend that you go out and buy a bunch of Genesis terminals because most likely you're just going to lose money. Although I did buy some just for the lulz. But at least unlike the other theories that people are just parroting, this one is actually falsifiable. If we don't get Genesis golds in a few months, then this theory was definitely wrong. There is a chance that they will wait a little bit longer so that there's more Genesis reds in circulation before they add the ability for you to delete them, but they probably wouldn't wait too long. Anyways, let me know what you think about this theory in the comments below or in my Discord. Don't take it too seriously, but let me know your thoughts.